Hello, Christopher. My name is James, and I am a Kiwi. You may have never heard this one before, but I'm a Kiwi who's come to Australia to work. In fact, I might be one of the first New Zealanders to have ever done this. But working in research in Australia is great. After all, Australians have invented so many amazing things, such as the pavlova, the flat white, and the Anzac biscuit. But, you know, us New Zealanders, we're also pretty proud of the things we've invented, such as the flat white and the Anzac biscuit. Oh well, at least you guys didn't copy our flag or anything. Now, as my talk title suggests, I do work with crystals. And I feel like I need to get this out of the way early on. So, no. My crystals will not heal you, nor will they align your chakras. I mean, come on. They can't even stop my hair from thinning. So what is even the point? No. I work with crystals because I am a quantum physicist. And when I tell people this, I get a varying level of reactions. So like the nerdy physicist that I am, I come up with a way to measure how cool people think I am when I tell them that I do quantum. But people don't like numbers, so let's put some faces to the scale, shall we? This is Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. You might like the Big Bang Theory. I absolutely hate it. So I'm going to be giving Sheldon a big fat 0. Sorry Sheldon fan. At the top of the scale, we're going to put Tony Stark. I mean, come on, he's Iron Man. He invents things, he's even saved the world. Top low, top marks. And then we have Oppenheimer. What can I say about Oppenheimer? Great taste in hats, but he didn't invent nukes. So we'll just put him somewhere in the middle. Now, I like to compare myself to these people, but I think I can do a little bit better than Sheldon. However, I can safely admit I'm definitely not as cool as Tony Stark. So let's aim for Oppenheimer, but with fewer explosions and secret communist meetings, maybe. Now, my supervisor is in the audience, so I feel like I have to say, I promise I'm not going to blow up a lot. At least I'm not going to do it on purpose. No. I like to compare myself to Oppenheimer because I'm part of a race to build something as well. And that something is called the quantum internet. And if you've seen recent Marvel films, you might think that the quantum internet is like a really, really tiny internet. But Ant-Man actually gets a Sheldon mark for representation. You see, unlike other talks we've heard tonight, quantum doesn't always mean really, really small. The quantum internet will be a lot like the regular internet, except that it has this added bonus that it's completely unhackable. That means no matter how hard the NSA tries to listen to your family conversations, they can't. Which, this might be a benefit because no one needs to hear what your crazy uncle has to say about American politics. On top of this, the quantum internet will also be able to tell you if someone's trying to hack into your connection before they even actually hack your connection. So I think the quantum internet gets a Tony Stark mark for cool. But before we build our fancy new quantum internet, we're going to need a bunch of technologies. In the current internet, think of servers, think of routers, think of data storage. My project is building the data storage for our quantum internet. And that data storage is going to be a crystal. Now, you might be hearing crystals, and you might be thinking of something like this. You know, beautiful colors, strange geometric shapes, fancy expensive jewelry. But don't let this crystal confuse you. This is a Sheldon crystal. All these fancy colors, all these strange shapes, they're all due to defects. This crystal is a bad crystal. Now, here's a crystal that you can send your watch to. Isn't it beautiful? It's completely pristine. There's no defects in sight, perfect edges. This is the crystal of the quantum internet. This is an Oppenheimer crystal. And now we need to take this crystal and we need to put some data into it. And we do that with lasers. And if you don't think that shining lasers at a crystal is Tony Stark levels of cool, then we just can't be friends. In fact, here's a picture of me working in the lab. I just went to the gym today, got a good pump on. No. A really good question would be, how do you use lasers to store data in a crystal? Well, we actually encode the information for our data onto the light beam in our laser, and then we store that light in the crystal itself. And this might sound like magic, but don't worry. Someone like me who's been working with these crystals for over 7 years, it still sounds like magic. But let me explain. When light hits a crystal, one of three things can happen. The light can be reflected, the light can go straight through, or it can be absorbed. If we want to store light in our crystal, we need it to absorb the light. And the astute of you may have noticed that this crystal is completely see-through, which means it's not going to absorb a lot of light. That's actually because this crystal absorbs in the infrared, and we use infrared lasers. But infrared lasers are boring. I mean, this is what the slide looks like with an infrared laser. So I think I'll stick with the green one for now. Now, under normal circumstances, when a crystal absorbs light, that light is then quickly re-emitted into a random direction, and any information encoded on that light is lost to us. And to understand why this is, we need to take a closer look at our atoms. And you see, here's the problem. These atoms are absolute party fiends. They're throwing a massive rager. They are dancing, they are moshing, they are bumping into each other with all of this excess thermal energy that we call heat. And when these atoms bump into each other, we physicists, we call this an interaction. These interactions cause us to lose all of our information. So naturally, like any physicist, I hate these social interactions. And I absolutely need them to stop. This party is too loud, I'm uncomfortable, there's too many people, I'm going to the DJ and I'm telling him to turn the music off. But the way we actually stop this party is we cool down our crystal. A lot. I mean, minus 272 degrees Celsius. That's 1 degree above absolute zero. When this happens, our atoms stop dancing, and our raver is put on a jacket and head home. Except there's always that one guy in the corner in a shorts and t-shirt. I don't know what it is. With our crystal this cold, it's finally ready to store light. And when the light enters the crystal, all of our atoms behave in sync, and they start to dance with the energy from this light. And because the crystal is this cold, they can dance in perfect unison without bumping into each other. The problem actually is now trying to get the light back out of that crystal. But it turns out, if you put another pulse of light into this crystal, and that pulse has the exact right amount of energy, you can convince all of your atoms to start dancing in reverse. And this may sound strange, but the atoms actually do look like they're going in rewind. They look like they're going back in time. And when they get back to the start of the dance, they emit the exact same pulse of light that we put into the crystal earlier. I mean, again, this sounds like magic to me. We're able to store light in a crystal, and we're able to get that light back out again. Now, most of my work involves engineering these pulses of light so that we can get as much data into our crystal as possible, and then get as much of that data back out again. After all, what's the point of a hard drive if it just doesn't let you have your photos taken? And all of this is using light as a medium to transmit information for our fancy new quantum internet. And if I can achieve this, then Australia and New Zealand will have one more thing to fight. Thank you, everybody.